Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we're back with another episode of the Umbrella Academy, episode 8. A lot of things basically went to hell last episode after number 5 did his back in time thing and pretty much ruined all the events that we were actually looking forward to in the first time around. Now number 1, instead of having number 3 there, Allison there to console him after finding out the truth about what Dr. Hargreeves was doing with his research or not doing with it. So he went off, asked Klaus to help hook him up with drugs. He went and found a club, and I don't know, maybe that's not such a bad thing. He's unwinding and actually having fun for a change, I guess. So that's something good coming of it. But number 5 somehow got shot, or someone mentioned that it wasn't that he was shot. It was that some of the debris from the explosion that he caused just before he jumped actually hit him. But either way, he's actually out of it now. He's bedridden. Everyone is pretty much, despite the theme of the episode being we need to stick together, which surprisingly Diogo is the one that said, hey, maybe Luther was right. We need to stick together. And like myself, Allison couldn't believe what he was saying, but they wanted to stay together, and now that they want to stay together, they're all going apart. The good thing is we're actually getting to see a bit more of number 6 now. The more of him I see, the more satisfied I am, because I am curious to know what exactly happened to him. But this time around, Klaus didn't end up seeing his long lost love, Dave. He ended up seeing Dr. Hargreeves, which sadly disproves my theory of him being Pogo. But he now knows that Dr. Hargreeves offed himself to get them to come back together. Somehow he foresaw the events that would end the world. Which it makes me wonder whether or not he actually has any connection to the commission. That's my next theory. I don't know, Leonard. God damn it, Leonard. Sadly, things didn't go as we had expected in terms of the way it went the very first time. Vanya, the first time around, found out, or she found a diary with all the notes, which turns out actually belonged to Dr. Hargreeves, which he followed Klaus after Klaus stole it from the mansion, with all the notes on all the children. But Vanya's name was in it, and if her name was there, it suggests that Dr. Hargreaves knew about Vanya's abilities, and that further supports my theory. I still maintain that I might be right on this one, that Vanya is the one that actually ends the world, and Dr. Hargreaves was doing his best to prevent it by telling her she doesn't have any abilities, and the anxiety meds are really to suppress her abilities. And I surmise that their killing Leonard is what's going to trigger it, sadly, because he found a way to make her care more about him. They went out after attempting to use her abilities with no success, and somehow conveniently they were being harassed by 3 or 4 guys, clearly drunk or something. But I believe that was deliberate. I believe it was something Leonard himself set up to force her to become emotional and use her abilities. I don't trust the guy, and we now know he killed his dad. I don't know what his end game is. He's obsessed with the Umbrella Academy, but he can't get their abilities. I don't see how he could. I guess the next best thing is to actually have one of them with him, Vanya. And number 3 is heading there to tell her what they've learned, that Leonard is Harold. But I don't think number 7. I don't think Vanya is gonna believe her. She's gonna think she's trying to be controlling, and she's gonna side with Leonard, and she's gonna get emotional, and yeah, it's not gonna go very well. God damn it, Leonard. God damn you. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there. I can only hope that Vanya comes to her senses. But this is the first time in her life that she's actually had a connection like that. It's going to be very difficult for her to see clearly. I mean, short of that, you know, Hazel and Chacha, I know what's happening with them. They need to just hug it out, right? I mean, I suspect now that the reason Chacha was so upset about Hazel's decision is because she now has feelings for him and he has feelings for the waitress. I'm not quite sure where we're going with this though. Not that I mind. Again, I mentioned this before. I don't mind it actually. I enjoy the two characters and their interactions. But I don't see how exactly they move the story in any way. They're no longer, you know, the suitcase isn't there anymore, so they're no longer attached to our heroes, right? The commission has ordered them to kill each other, and so in a way they're already dead in terms of the story, right? So unless there is some way that they'll weave them back into the main plot line, I'm just left wondering why we're still following them. But until then, I enjoy watching them, so I don't mind as long as it gets somewhere, right? Is he gonna run away with the waitress, or I mean he cuffed Chacha in the hotel room and left her there, and she threatened him and his newfound love. So as whether she'll deliver on that, I don't know. I mean, initially she's always come off as cold but calculating and by the books. So to see her kind of unraveling like that seemed a bit uncharacteristic to me. But I don't know, love, I guess. But yeah, I mean, let's see what they do with that storyline. All right, so let's check it out. So Klaus, I am really hoping we get to see him master his abilities.
This one.
I want to hear about the time the Umbrella Academy defeated the robbers at the museum.
Again? It was a dark and stormy night. They went in quietly, like mice, one by one in a line.
Minus Ben.
Your Uncle Luther.
You mean Space Boy.
Diego.
I wonder why he was called Space Boy before he actually ended up going to space. Oh, Ben is there.
Well, your Uncle Klaus got a little distracted. And I nicely asked their leader if he could put back a very fancy party for saving the day.
I wonder how long that lasted.
Mommy, why isn't Auntie Vanya ever in your stories?
She didn't come on missions with us, sweetie. She's a little different than the rest of us.
Different in this case being normal.
Okay. It's time for bed, sweetie, all right?
One more story. I want to hear the one about the Eiffel Tower.
No, Claire, it's past your bedtime tomorrow.
But I'm not tired.
Claire.
But I want one.
Oh, is this the incident
Mom,
where
come
she
on, I want a story.
tells her? Is this where she uses her abilities on her?
I heard a rumor that you're really tired. You're really tired.
Ah, god damn it. Did she not wake up or something?
Patrick, I can explain.
Damn it, you heard this. So what happened though? I mean, we don't know the full extent of her abilities.
Why do you trust?
I'm getting out of here.
Don't you need to be observed or...
I'm gonna come back for a checkup tomorrow and be fitted for a prosthetic eye. But that's it.
Ah, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I don't want to talk about
So the eye that number 5 found belongs to him. Doesn't he want to
There
sign?
were 3 men that were hurt outside the tavern last night. Do you know what happened to them?
We just got one.
And where are the other 2?
Paramedics couldn't save them.
They died? And company. This is like his first time.
There's no easy way to say this, so I'm just gonna spit it out.
This is a bad
Spoke to
idea.
Dad.
Yeah.
Ben.
Klaus.
I conjured Dad last night. He killed himself.
I don't have time for your games,
No,
Klaus.
I'm telling you the truth.
God damn it.
I'm telling you the truth.
Why'd he do it then?
He said it was the only way to get us all home again.
Dad wouldn't just...
It's not your fault. What happened to those guys?
No, it's yours, Leonard.
Lisa just surged out of me like a...
You were acting in self-defense. You were defending me.
I shouldn't be able to do that.
But you can. You have a power, Vanya. You have a gift.
It's like with the boat. If I try to do it, I can't.
Guess not.
I saw you on TV like 2 nights ago in that Sandra Bullock movie about the underpaid teachers that rob a bank.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, you can always use your fame. So you don't have to use your
My wife and
abilities.
I, we prefer you in the romantic comedies.
Oh.
You know, the Love on Loan trilogy. Oof. Ooh, can't get enough.
Actually, that's why I'm here. I'm researching a role, a law enforcement role.
Oh,
Jack
tag
Pine
along.
Cove? We haven't had a murder here in years.
Oh, in fact, maybe I could tag along while you conduct some official police business. I promise I won't get in the way. I just feel like
Smart.
it could really help me develop my character if I could live a day in the life, you know?
Truth is, our whole lives he's been telling
Could he
us
have
we'd
been
save
a
the
part
world
of the
from an
commission?
impending apocalypse.
And maybe he
Well,
knew
so
the
you
events were
said
going to
that's
happen,
scary
and
as
like
anything.
number 5, he wanted to
Me
stop
too.
it. So
What
he
if the
came
old
back
man
to
really
the
knew what was
time
going
that
to
they,
happen?
the kids were born.
The fact remains his concoct plan worked. We all came home. Since we're here, we might as well save the world.
Oh yeah? What, like
Or
2 of
maybe
us?
he used to be a part of the
Really, no.
commission, but he retired.
Gotta work with. Listen to everything around you.
After 12 days of success, Number 7 showed an unexpected resistance to her training. Number 7, your insolence is unacceptable.
Vanya, breathe. Vanya, breathe. Breathe. There you go.
I stopped it. I stopped it.
Your ability, your brain is constantly taking in stimuli. And for you, when you feel a strong emotion, the sounds around you are so.
How do you know all this, Leonard?
Just have a couple of questions for you.
Trouble?
No trouble, nothing like that. I wanted to ask you about the accident in the Erskine Tavern parking lot last night.
God.
Detective
There was
from
no
what?
accident.
What do you mean?
This guy...
I knew it. Goddamn,
Mr.
Leonard.
Rough him up in front of his girlfriend. He paid real good up front. We got drunk.
This is my sister. I think the guy that put him in this hospital has her. I have to find her.
I could get fired for just bringing you down here with me.
Please.
Honey, I just hope you realize now that despite what your family has said to you all these years, is that you are special.
Where are we?
I've made a secret place, just for you. None of your siblings get to play there. You need to remain in a controlled environment.
So Pogo
More
knows.
research is required to
God damn it,
determine whether your
Pogo.
behavior can be regulated.
You lied again, Pogo. Lied again.
Anya, relax. Just concentrate.
Oh, damn it. What's gonna happen?
Vanya, there you are. What is going on?
What are you doing here?
I came to find you. Are you okay?
Yeah?
There's something weird going on. What's causing it? What do you mean, me?
I mean, I made those things happen. With my powers. Turns out I've had them all this time.
It's incredible.
But
Can we do this in the car?
why?
You're not gonna want to hear it. Leonard Peabody? His real name is Harold Jenkins. Remember when I couldn't find anything in the library on Leonard? It's because Leonard Peabody doesn't exist. He murdered his father when he was 13.
This is insane. His dad was an engineer.
I have the police
This-
report in the car, Vanya. I can show you.
I don't understand.
I promise I will tell you everything in the car, but it's not safe.
No, stop.
He's not gonna listen. You should probably take a different approach. If they try to do it that way, it's just gonna go to hell.
I love him. This just doesn't make any sense. And this power, I don't know what's going on.
I understand now.
Yeah, don't go there yet. And I don't really get why. I mean, unless he knew something more, because I
Asked me
mean,
to do something I never understood.
Do it.
I heard a rumor.
you never forget.
You think you're just ordinary.
So her abilities continue to work for that long, though. Waited.
You did this to me?
God damn it.
I didn't realize.
You knew this whole time? That I had powers?
No, I didn't really understand.
Look me in the eye and tell me you're not threatened now.
Please don't make me do this.
Don't try to fight her. Just gonna make it worse.
I heard a rumor.
Oh, God. God damn it.
Vanya, wait! You did what you had to. Vanya! Vanya! We have to go!
I can't just leave her.
We have to go now!
Why is she still listening to this guy? Well, I must see them. No.
Allison. How much? Allison.
Episode 8. Leonard. Goddamn Leonard. Alright, so I don't know. It sucks. It sucks. Sucks for Klaus. I mean, don't they need all of them? Well, I guess in some way they need all of them to stop the events from happening. But I am certain now that I was correct in my theory before, that Vanna is the one that causes the end. But or maybe not, because I mean, killing her sister didn't cause it. At this point, I would think that she would be questioning Leonard. No, maybe not at that moment, but I guess we'll see the next episode. But it would be weird if she doesn't question it now. Dude had a grin on his face when her sister was bleeding to death, right? And she now knows, at least Allison's words, that he's a lying murderer. If she doesn't question this, it'd just be, yeah. She's been one of my favorite characters since this season has started, but if she doesn't question this now, I don't know. I just have to give up on her, because I mean, the signs are there, and I can understand. You know, I was saying to one of the one of the viewers that, all right, I understand that she's never had a connection because of what happened to her, and he's the first person to actually, get close to her, and so she has a blind spot. But there's a difference between having a blind spot and just common sense, right? The times that he's been pushing her, disregarding the other ordinary parts of her life that he claimed initially that make her extraordinary. Now the ordinary stuff doesn't matter anymore, just her abilities matter. So there are signs there, but she's still choosing to ignore them. And if she continues to ignore them from this point onwards, yeah. Can't believe they killed Allison. I would like to hope that there's some way to them to go back, and for number 5 to go back before this happens and try to save her, but this is a result of him going back in the first place. And I imagine if they do it again, something worse is just going to happen. So I don't know if it's even worth it. But if there's ever a time that he needs to do that, now is the time. But I'm still not sure if when he jumped back in time, if he jumped with his abilities, or did he use the briefcase to make the jump back here. I'm not sure. Yeah. Sad episode. He killed a guy from the hospital. When they drove past, saw the body underneath the house. So he's racking up bodies, but he's gotten what he wanted now, for sure. She's killed her sister. She's gonna lean on him for emotional support, even though God knows she should suspect him at this point. But I imagine he thinks her siblings are gonna turn against her, but I don't think they'll do that. Well, at least not right now. They may think that Leonard killed Allison, not Vanya. If they do find out, I mean, I can see the others understanding that her powers got out of control, or she was whatever happened there, because her powers are tied to her emotions and it just got out of hand. But Luther, on the other hand, I don't know if he'll be as forgiving. But it's a tough one. Yeah. Well, we finally got them together. Klaus finally found out the truth about her dad. But all this could have been prevented if Pogo just told them the goddamn truth. He knew about their abilities before. And he keeps... I love Pogo. the moment he was introduced, but I'm off the pogo train now. I'm off the pogo train. I'm sorry. Lying about the dad's death is bad enough, but he also knew about Vanya. Why hasn't he said anything no about that with everything that's happening? So they're gonna catch him in another lie again. Allison took the heat for it, but she was a kid back then. Pogo wasn't. He's known all this time and he's chosen not to say anything. So what was Dr. Hargreaves' plan? You know, I mean, number 5 raised the question, how did he know the end was coming? And I mean, I'm guessing that either Dr. Hargreaves was a part of the commission and he made the deal, and after working with them for a number of years, he chose to settle down in this timeline because he knew something was going to happen in this timeline. And he made a decision to try to stop it. So I'm guessing he chose the timeline because he knew what was going to happen. But I mean, that would make sense if he isn't the one causing it in the first place, which it appears as though he is doing. Because if he didn't suppress her abilities from at the beginning, we wouldn't have gotten to this point. And I'm still unclear as to why he even did that. Yeah, her powers got out of control at one point, fine. But I'm sure that happened with the other kids as well. Especially Allison. I don't see any way in which you could have not had an incident where that went horribly wrong. Especially at that impressionable age. Right? And because all she has to do is whisper, and kids do weird things, do mischievous things. So why take that approach with Vanya and not the others? I mean, he was hard on the others, but this was extreme. So it feels as though he's setting things in motion, right? I don't know if it's to prevent a bigger threat, or if it is to prevent this one, then it makes it, I don't know. I suspect that he was a part of the commission. That I do. I'm just not, mapped out why he would want this to happen. I'm at a loss there. And the saving grace is that they're all together again. Not under the best circumstances, but they're all together again. We had some things happening with Cha-Cha and Hazel, but to be honest, at this point, it's not even relevant anymore. It's not. I'm not quite sure what Hazel's plan is. He left his girlfriend to do something, I imagine, based on his question to her about spending her last 2 days. I'm guessing he wants to go and help them to prevent this from happening, but I don't see their mission was just to kill number 5. I don't think they were given any additional information. So I'm not sure how he would be able to help them to stop it. I guess, I don't know, they don't even have a briefcase anymore, so it's not like he can go back to the commission or anything to help them in any way. So I'm not quite sure how he can help. So his relationship with Cha-Cha is the only thing that's really, feels disconnected from the storyline right now, and I'm not quite sure where the writers are going with it. But they do need to hurry and get there though, because it's, I don't know, it just seems irrelevant right now. Especially if it's a love triangle just seems, a love triangle that doesn't affect the main story in any way. Again, I love seeing, I love the characters themselves. I love them together when they were partners interacting, carrying out their mission, and the banter between the two back and forth. But now that they're on opposing sides somewhat, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what to make of them. Right? And Cha-Cha's motivations are still unclear. If it's just jealousy, which is what it seems to be, I myself caring about that a whole lot, right? Not in contrast to everything else that is happening in the show right now, right? But yeah, an unfortunate and sad episode, a sad end. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that something can be done. Let's go back in time, make something happen. Yeah. Alright guys, be sure to post on the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode and whether or not you hate Leonard as much as I do right now. Hit like or subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.